Let's talk about a massive global health crisis that's happening right now, hiding in plain sight. It affects millions and millions of people. But here's the thing, the solution is actually incredibly simple. This is the story of a blindness that is completely solvable. So, just think about this for a second. What if there was a simple 15-minute procedure that could literally change the lives of almost 100 million people? Give them their sight back, their independence, everything. Well, that procedure already exists. And this number, this isn't some guess. It's real. 94 million. That is the number of people right now on our planet who are waiting for cataract surgery. 94 million people living with vision loss that we absolutely know how to fix. You see a number like that, and you realize this is a full-blown crisis in sight. So to really get why this is such a huge deal, we first need to understand what we're even talking about. Okay, so what is a cataract? It's really simple. It's just a clouding of the lens inside your eye. The best way to think about it is like looking through a window that's getting foggier and foggier over time. At first, things are just a little blurry, but eventually that window becomes totally clouded over, and that leads to blindness. And here's the kicker. This is the single leading cause of blindness in the entire world. And that brings us right back to that staggering number, 94 million. See, this isn't just a count of how many people have cataracts. Experts call this a backlog, and it's a problem that is, unbelievably, getting worse every single day. Just look at this. Back in 2020, the backlog was 74 million people. Fast forward just 4 years to today, and it's ballooned to 94 million. That's an increase of 20 million people. This isn't a problem that's getting solved, it's actually accelerating. And we have to remember, a backlog isn't just some dry economic term. It's a line. It's a real-life queue of millions of people whose lives are just on pause. They're waiting to see their families' faces again, to go back to work, to read a book, or just to navigate their own homes safely. So this leads to the biggest question of all, right? If the surgery is so effective and the condition is so common, why on earth are so many people waiting? What's standing in the way? Well, it really boils down to a few major hurdles. For a lot of folks, they simply don't know that their failing vision is fixable. For others, the cost, no matter how small, is just too much. Sometimes, even if the surgery is free, the clinic could be days away. And in many places, the official waiting lists are just impossibly long. You know, the head of the World Health Organization put it perfectly. He called this situation unacceptable and a stark challenge to equity. I mean, when you have a cheap, simple solution, the failure to actually provide it becomes a huge question of fairness and global justice. And that's really the heart of the issue. This isn't a problem that's shared equally around the world. Nope. The vast, overwhelming majority of these 94 million people live in low and middle-income countries, where all those barriers we just talked about are at their absolute highest. Okay, but for all the frustration and the scale of this crisis, there is a very clear path forward. In fact, the simplicity of the solution is just as powerful as the complexity of the problem. Here it is, side by side. This is the whole paradox. On one side, you have the world's #1 cause of blindness, a gigantic, life-altering problem, and on the other, you have a super effective 15-minute surgery that can completely fix it. The entire crisis exists in that gap between the problem and the solution. So, how do we close that gap? Well, the World Health Organization has already laid out a pretty clear 3-step game plan. First, we need to stop treating eye care like some luxury specialty and build it right into regular primary health care. Second, we've got to bring that care to the people, make it closer and easier to get to. And third, maybe the most important step of all, we have to make sure it's affordable for absolutely everyone. And all of this brings us to what is, for me, the most powerful takeaway. We are not talking about some incurable disease or a deep medical mystery. We are talking about a form of blindness that is 100% solvable. We have the medical tools. We have the global health plan. The fact that this backlog of 94 million people still exists, that's not inevitable. It's a choice. It's a direct result of the choices we as a global community make about our priorities and where we put our resources. So I'll just leave you with this. When a simple, affordable cure for the world's leading cause of blindness is readily available, the fact that 94 million people are still waiting in the dark for it really forces us to ask a tough question. What does that say about our global priorities?